She gave her last $10 to a stranger at the train station. She didn't know he was Keanu Reeves. It was a cold, foggy morning at Port Haven's train station. The fog was thick like a blanket, and the salty air from the sea mixed with the smell of old, rusty train tracks. Everything felt gray and heavy. Sienna Harper stood on the platform, holding her last $10 bill tightly in her hand like it was something precious. Sienna didn't have a job. She didn't have much money left. She only had a train ticket and that one $10 bill. She was hoping to ride the train to a town called Crestwood to go to a very important job interview. She needed the job to pay her rent and buy food. It wasn't a fancy job, just office work at a shipping place, but to her, it meant hope. Suddenly, a stranger walked up to her. He looked cold and wet. His jacket was thin and soaked, and his dark hair stuck to his forehead. He had a beard and tired blue eyes that looked sad and honest. He looked like someone who had been outside in the rain for a long time. "Excuse me," he said in a soft, shaky voice. "I'm really sorry to ask this, but I lost my wallet. I just need $10 to get home. I promise I'll pay you back." Sienna's heart tightened. That $10 was all she had left. She was going to use it to buy a small sandwich or maybe a cup of soup before her interview. She needed to eat something so she wouldn't be too hungry or tired. She looked at the stranger again. Could he be lying? Was he trying to trick her? "How do I know you're not lying?" she asked, her voice a little sharper than she wanted. "You don't," the man said, looking her right in the eyes. "I wouldn't trust me either. I look like a mess. But I really am stuck. I've asked other people. They just walked away." Sienna could hear the honesty in his voice. He wasn't trying to sound sweet or make her feel guilty. He just looked tired and sad and real. She turned and looked at the big board showing when the trains were leaving. Her train would be there any minute. She could say no, walk away, and keep her plan. But something in her heart held her still. She remembered her mom's voice from long ago. Her mom used to say, "Help when you can. It's what makes us human." Her mom had died from cancer 3 years ago. Since then, Sienna had been trying so hard to stay strong. Giving away the $10 felt scary. She had nothing else. But her hand moved all by itself. She reached into her pocket and took out the soft, wrinkled bill. She looked at the man and held it out. "I don't know why I'm doing this," she whispered. The man looked surprised, like he couldn't believe she was really helping him. He reached out slowly, like he was afraid she might change her mind. "Thank you," he said, his voice cracking a little. "I mean it. I'll pay you back. What's your name?" "Sienna," she said softly. "Just get home safe." "Okay, Sienna," the man said. "I won't forget this." Then the sound of the train filled the station. It was loud and strong. The man gave her a quick nod and turned away into the fog, heading toward the ticket booth. Sienna stood there, her heart beating fast. She felt a mix of worry and something warm. She had just given her last dollar to a man named Keanu. "What was I thinking?" she said quietly. She shook her head and ran to her train. She got on just as the doors were closing. She sat down by the window and looked outside as the train began to move. No food today, she thought. She would have to stay strong. But deep inside there was a little spark of hope. Maybe she had done something good. Maybe her mom would have smiled if she had seen it. She didn't know who Keanu really was. She didn't know he used to be a famous movie star. She didn't know he had walked away from the spotlight to live a quiet life. She didn't know that $10 would come back to her in a way she never imagined. The train rolled toward Crestwood. Sienna pulled her coat tighter around her. She hoped the interview would go well. She had made it this far. She had to believe something good would happen. But then a new thought entered her mind. What if the job didn't work out? What if that $10 was her last chance? What if the man didn't remember her at all? She leaned her head against the cold window and thought about his eyes. His voice. "I'll pay you back." People say things all the time, she thought sadly. Back at the train station, the man, Keanu, was still standing under the roof. He hadn't bought a ticket. He still held the $10 in his hand. He watched the train leave and smiled a little. He wasn't really stuck. His story wasn't completely true. It was a kind of test. He had been pretending to be poor for a few weeks. He wanted to see if people would help someone who had nothing. Most people didn't. They ignored him. But Sienna had stopped. She had given him her last bit of money. That meant something big to him. He put the $10 in his pocket like it was a treasure and made a promise. He would find her again. Somehow. Sienna had no idea what was coming. She didn't know about the crash. She didn't know about the hard days ahead. She didn't know that Keanu would turn that small act of kindness into something amazing. But it had already started. The train stopped in Crestwood. Sienna stepped out. Her stomach growled. She had made it, but she was late. 15 minutes late for her interview. The shipping office was 3 blocks away. She ran fast, her wet shoes slapping the sidewalk. She opened the door, out of breath and dripping wet. A woman at the desk looked up with a frown. She held a clipboard and didn't smile. "You're late," she said. "Mr. Daniels already left." "Please," Sienna begged. "I took the train. I didn't have money for the bus. Can I wait? I really need this job." The woman shook her head. "He's gone. Call later to try again." Sienna felt her chest tighten. She nodded and walked back outside. The wind blew hard. The cold hit her face like a slap. She walked back to the train station and took the train home, stomach empty and heart heavy. When she got back to her little room above the fish market, her landlord was waiting. His arms were crossed. His face looked angry. "You're 3 days late on rent," he said. "I need it now." "I know," Sienna said softly. "Please give me until Friday." "I'm trying." "You said that last week. I have someone else who wants this room. Pack up." Sienna didn't fight. She didn't cry. She packed her clothes, her broken phone, and an old photo of her mom into her backpack. She left the room and walked out into the dark. That night, she wandered the streets of Port Haven. The sea wind stung her eyes. She found a cold bench by the pier and sat down. The metal was hard and freezing. She hugged her backpack and stared at the crashing waves. She had slept on this bench before when her mom was sick and they had no money. She thought those days were gone. But now she is back. She felt invisible. Forgotten. The kind thing she had done felt like a joke. The $10 she gave away echoed in her mind. But somewhere not far away, someone hadn't forgotten her at all. Keanu sat in a warm cafe, still dressed in old clothes. He looked out at the foggy street. In his pocket he felt the soft $10 bill and smiled. He had a plan. And Sienna's story wasn't over. It was just beginning. The next day Sienna looked for a job. She asked at a cafe but they said no. "You don't have an address or a phone. We can't hire you," they said. She tried a grocery store but the people there laughed at her when she asked for a job. She walked and walked until her feet hurt. Finally she went to a shelter on Bay Street. A woman at the front desk named Tara had kind eyes, but she looked tired. "We're full tonight. Try again tomorrow," she said. Sienna didn't say much. She was too tired and sad. She walked back to the pier and curled up on the same bench. The stars above her looked far away and cold. She slept a little, but the wind in her hungry belly kept waking her up. The day started to feel the same. No food. No job. People saying no over and over. She felt like she was slowly falling apart. Then she met a man named Drex. He was older and had a scar on his eyebrow. He saw her on the bench one rainy night. He gave her a sandwich from a paper bag. "You look like you need this," he said, sitting very close. Sienna took the sandwich. Her hands were shaking. She ate it fast. The bread was dry and stuck in her throat. "Thanks," she said softly. Drex smiled. His teeth were yellow. "No problem. Stick with me. I'll take care of you," he said. At first, Sienna thought she was lucky. Drex knew the streets. He knew where to find food and how to stay away from the police. He helped her find a place to sleep in an old warehouse. It was full of other people with no homes. He gave her a blanket and said, "You can stay if you give me some of what you find." But soon things changed. Drex started watching her too much. He asked, "Where were you? What did you find?" One night she came back with nothing. He grabbed her arm. "You owe me," he said. His breath smelled bad from beer. "Start helping or leave." Sienna felt scared. She nodded, but her heart was beating fast. Drex got meaner. He made her beg for money at the docks. Then he took half of the coins she got. One time she made $1. He found it and got angry. He slammed her against the wall. "Think you're smart?" he shouted, holding her neck. Sienna didn't move. Her lips were bleeding. Drex laughed and let her go, but Sienna stayed afraid. She didn't sleep much anymore. She watched him in the dark. She knew Drex wasn't just mean. He was dangerous. One rainy night, she heard him talking to another man named Torque. They were whispering about selling drugs. She peeked and saw them with money and a bag of pills. Drex saw her. "You didn't see that," he said, walking close. "Or you'll be sorry." Sienna nodded, but she was shaking inside. She felt trapped. No money. No home. And now she was stuck with someone scary. She thought of Keanu, the boy who gave her $10. Was that a lie? Had she given up everything for nothing? By the end of the week, Sienna felt empty. Hungry. Scared. So sad. She sat on the pier again. Rain fell on her coat. She started crying. She missed her mom. Her hugs, her laugh, the way she made Sienna feel safe. Now Sienna felt alone. Drex was out there. The city didn't care. She had hit the bottom. She felt broken. But something tiny inside her still glowed. Maybe it was anger. Maybe it was her mom's voice. Keep going, Em. She didn't know how, but she wasn't done yet. The rain wouldn't stop. Sienna's coat was wet. Her backpack was soaked. Drex's voice still scared her. You didn't see that, or you'll wish you hadn't. She didn't go back to the warehouse. She chose the cold outside over being near Drex. Her stomach hurt. She hadn't eaten since yesterday when she found a rotten apple in a trash can. She walked to a small park near the docks. She hoped someone had left food behind. The grass was wet. The air smelled like the sea. Sienna sat on a bench next to a statue of a sailor. She pulled her knees to her chest. Her hands shook. She was cold. And she was scared. She had seen Torque watching her yesterday. His stare felt sharp like a knife. She couldn't keep running. But staying might be worse. She touched the photo of her mom inside her bag. It was the only thing that made her feel a little better. But she didn't take it out. She couldn't look at it right now. Then she heard someone coming. The steps were slow. Sienna got ready to run. Was it Torque? Or worse? But it wasn't. It was an old woman. Maybe 70 years old. She wore a green scarf. She had a canvas bag over her shoulder. Her gray hair was in a bun. Her face looked kind. She stopped a little away from Sienna and looked at her gently. You look like you're carrying the whole world, she said softly. Sienna wiped her face. I'm fine, she said. But the woman didn't believe her. She sat down on the bench but left some space. She opened her bag. I'm Mavis, she said. I walk here every morning. I always pack extra food just in case. She pulled out a sandwich wrapped in foil. Turkey and cheese. It's yours if you want it, she said, placing it between them. Sienna looked at the sandwich. Her throat felt tight. She wanted to say no. She wanted to be strong. But she was so hungry. She took the sandwich and unwrapped it. Her hands were shaking. The first bite made her remember her mom. Her mom used to make sandwiches on Sundays. Sienna started crying. Thank you, she said softly. Mavis nodded. She seemed to understand everything without needing Sienna to say more. There's a place called Harbor Hope on Coral Street, Mavis said. They give free meals. But they also need help. You could help them and they'll help you. Sienna swallowed hard. Why are you helping me? She asked. Mavis smiled. Because someone once helped me. Now it's my turn. Sienna kept thinking about those words even after Mavis left. She finished the sandwich, enjoying every bite. Then she went to Coral Street. She found the building. It was made of bricks. The sign was old but friendly. It said, Harbor Hope. Inside it smelled like coffee and warm bread. A woman with short curly hair and an apron saw her. I'm Delia. You here for lunch? She asked. Sienna shook her head. Mavis sent me. She said you might need help. Delia's face became kind. Mavis is good at seeing good people. Put on an apron. We'll figure it out. Sienna worked hard. She chopped carrots, stirred soup, cleaned tables. Her hands moved fast. She felt glad to be doing something. The people who came in were like her, tired but still trying. A man named Benny told jokes while she served him soup. A shy little boy gave her a drawing of a boat. By the end of the day, her feet hurt. But her heart felt a little lighter. Delia gave her a $10 bill. It's not much, but you earned it. Come back tomorrow. Sienna held the money tight and nodded. For the first time in a long time, she felt like someone saw her. She came back every day. She helped at the center. She got warm food, kind smiles. People said her name like it mattered. She even found a safer shelter to sleep in. Delia helped her with that too. But Drex didn't forget her. One night, as she left Harbor Hope, she saw Torque. He was standing across the street, leaning on a lamppost, smoking. That night, in her shelter bunk bed, Sienna couldn't sleep. Drex's voice wouldn't stop playing in her mind. You didn't see that, or you'll wish you hadn't. Harbor Hope was the only good thing she had now. She couldn't let Drex ruin it. But running again might mean losing everything she just found. And she didn't want to be invisible anymore. She thought about Mavis's sandwich, Delia's trust, even Ria's promise to pay her back. Did he really mean it? Did it even matter? She wasn't the same girl who gave him that $10 anymore. Now she was stronger, angrier, ready to fight for the little bit of hope she had found. As the sun started to shine through the window, she made a decision. She would stay. She would keep helping. Drex wanted her to be scared, but she wasn't going to break. Not yet. Deep inside her, a small light was growing. It grew bigger every time someone at the shelter smiled, every time she gave someone food. She didn't know it, but that small light was about to shine bright. Sienna woke up to the soft sounds of the shelter. Her bed creaked as she sat up. Drex's scary words still stayed in her head. "They'll burn that place down with you in it." But she stayed at Harbor Hope anyway. She served soup, washed dishes, and smiled at Benny and the kid who liked to draw boats. Every laugh felt like saying no to fear. Every meal felt like a little bit of protection. But she wasn't silly, she knew Drex meant what he said. And Torque, his friend, was hanging around the shelter too much. She kept the $10 Delia gave her hidden in her sock. It was her only backup plan. She watched the streets like a small animal being hunted. On Thursday, lunchtime at Harbor Hope was almost over. Sienna wiped the tables and hummed a little song to help her stay calm. Then the doorbell rang. She looked up and froze. A man stood there. He was tall and wearing a dark coat that didn't match the old part of the town. His hair was neat. His shoes were clean. His eyes were blue and steady. He looked familiar, like someone she once knew. She dropped her rag. "Keanu?" she whispered. He gave a small warm smile. "Sienna." She couldn't believe it. The messy man from the train station was gone. Now he looked like someone from another world. He walked up to her, hands in his pockets. "You're a hard person to find," he said, his voice softer than she remembered. "I went back to the station the next day, asked around. No one knew you." She blinked, still surprised. "You're here? Why?" He tilted his head. "You gave me your last $10 when I was a mess. I promised I'd pay you back. I meant it." Before she could say anything, Delia called from the kitchen. "Sienna, you okay out there?" Keanu looked at the kitchen, then back at her. "You work here?" "I volunteer," she said, crossing her arms. "It helps me keep going." He nodded, like he understood more than she was saying. "I have something for you. More than $10. Can we talk?" She paused. Drex's threat flashed in her mind. But Keanu's blue eyes looked kind, not dangerous. "Outside," she said. 5 minutes. They walked out onto Coral Street. The sea wind was cold. Keanu pulled out a clean $10 bill from his wallet and gave it to her. "Start with this," he said. She took it, their fingers touching. She laughed, a little unsure. "You tracked me down just to give me this?" "Not just that," he said, getting serious. "I'm Keanu Reeves. Not the actor anymore. I left all that. I started something called Reeves Renewal. We help people who hit hard times, people like I pretended to be that day. I was testing how the world treats people who seem invisible. You were the only one who stopped to help." Her breath stopped for a second. Keanu Reeves. She remembered the name from movies and stories, a world far from hers. "You're rich," she said, almost angry. "And I gave you my last $1. He looked sorry. "I didn't plan to take it. Just to ask. But you changed the plan." She stared at the $10 in her hand. She felt angry and amazed at the same time. "I lost everything after that. My job, my home. I'm still trying to fix my life." "I know I can't undo that," he said, stepping closer. "But I can give you a chance. Work with us. Help with our projects. You've got a heart, Sienna." I saw it. Her chest felt tight. She didn't know what to say. She felt hopeful but also unsure. Before she could speak, a voice yelled out, "Well, ain't this sweet?" It was Drex. He walked out from an alley with Torque next to him. They were both smiling in a mean way. Sienna's stomach dropped. "Walk away, Drex," she said, trying to sound brave even though her heart was racing. Drex didn't listen. He looked at Keanu. "Who's this?" "Your rich boyfriend is here to save you?" Keanu stood still but calm. "I'm just talking to her. Leave us alone." Drex laughed and pulled a knife from his pocket. He opened it with a click. "She owes me. She saw too much. Now you're in my way." He rushed at Keanu, the knife shining. Sienna yelled, "No," and pushed Keanu out of the way. The knife cut her arm, burning with pain. She stumbled, blood soaking her sleeve. But Keanu caught her, then spun around and knocked the knife from Drex's hand with a fast, strong move. Ray ran at them, fists up, but Keanu moved quickly and punched him hard. Torque fell down. Drex grabbed the knife again, but Sienna kicked his leg as hard as she could. He screamed and stumbled. That gave Keanu enough time to tackle him and push him to the ground. "Stay down," Keanu said, holding Drex's arm so he couldn't move. Sirens wailed. Someone at the shelter must have called the police. Drex tried to fight back, yelling bad words, but Keanu didn't let go until the cops came and put handcuffs on both Drex and Torque. Sienna sat down against the wall, holding her bleeding arm. Blood dripped through her fingers. Keanu knelt next to her and tore part of his sleeve to tie it around her arm. "You're okay," he said, voice worried. "I've got you." She nodded, tears in her eyes. Not because of pain, but because she was so relieved. The fight had been scary. She had acted without thinking. Drex was gone now. His threats were over. She looked at Keanu. His face was dirty. His eyes were full of care. "You didn't have to do that," she said. He shook his head. "Neither did you at the train station. But you did." Paramedics came and checked her arm. The cut was not deep. No stitches needed. They wrapped it up carefully. Keanu stayed close, quiet and strong. She had helped him once with $10. Now he had helped her with more than money. The police took Drex and Torque away. Drex still looked angry. But she wasn't scared anymore. She felt something real. Justice. A light breaking through the dark. She didn't know what would happen next. But with Keanu beside her, the little spark inside her was now a bright flame. Maybe she wasn't lost anymore. Sienna sat on the curb outside Harbor Hope. Her arm hurt under the bandage. The sirens were gone, taking Drex and Torque far away. But her heart was still beating fast. Keanu crouched next to her. His sleeve was ripped and he looked calm and strong. It made her feel a little safer in all the mess. The sun was going down in Port Haven, and the ocean made soft sounds near the docks. She looked at him, really looked, and saw more than just a stranger or a man who helped her. He felt like a bridge, like a path from her hard past to something new. She didn't know what yet. "You didn't have to jump in," he said, brushing dirt off his hands. "That knife could have." She stopped him. "You didn't have to either. We're even now." He gave a small smile and handed her a crumpled $10 bill. Drex had dropped it during the fight. "Not quite," Keanu said. "This is yours." She took it slowly. Her fingers touched the edges. It was her last dollar. She had given it away like a wild idea, but now it was back. It had some blood on it, but it was still here, like her. Mara came running out of the center. Her apron flew behind her. "Sienna, you okay?" she asked and gave her a big hug. Then she looked at Keanu. "Who's this?" Sienna waited, then said, "Keanu. He's a friend." Mara raised one eyebrow but didn't ask more questions. "The police said they got Drex for hurting people. Maybe more if they searched that warehouse. You're safe now." Safe. That word felt strange and soft. Sienna nodded, but her brain was still thinking about Drex. He had glared at her when they took him away. He had whispered something bad, like a promise to come back. Yes, justice won today. But she knew people like Drex don't let go that easy. Keanu stood up and held out his hand. "Let's get you inside. You need food. Rest." She took his hand. It felt warm and strong. She followed him back to Harbor Hope. Mara made soup and they sat at an old table. The hot steam curled up between them. "Tell me about this foundation," Sienna said, holding her spoon. He leaned back and his eyes lit up. "It's called Renewal. It's about second chances. We help people with no homes or jobs. We train them, feed them, give them a place to stay. I started it after I stopped acting. I wanted to do something real." She listened, feeling the soup warm her belly. "And me?" she asked. "What can I do?" He looked at her and said, "You've lived it. You felt hunger, fear, and hope. You could help us. Maybe lead a project. We'd give you training and a place to stay. You could start fresh." Her chest felt tight. Hope was sharp and bright, cutting through the numb feeling she had for so long. "I don't have a degree," she said. "I barely finished high school." He shrugged. "That doesn't matter. You have something better, bravery and heart. I saw it at the station. I saw it today." Before she could say anything, the door opened. Mavis, the woman from the park, walked in. Her scarf was loose around her shoulders. Sienna blinked. "Mavis?" The older woman smiled and came over. "I heard there was trouble. Had to check on you." She looked at Keanu, then back at Sienna. Her eyes twinkled. "Looks like you found each other." Sienna frowned. "You know him?" Mavis laughed and patted Keanu's shoulder. "He's my nephew. I raised him after his parents died. He told me about you. The girl with the big heart." Sienna's head spun. "You sent me here?" Mavis nodded. "Keanu told me about the $10 girl. Said you changed him. I wanted to see you myself. I saw a fighter. Not someone who gives up." Sienna sat back, surprised. That sandwich she gave away. That little nudge toward Coral Street. It wasn't luck. It was family. They had helped her find something bigger. Later, outside, Keanu walked her to the shelter. The stars twinkled in the sky. The air was cool. "I'm staying," she told him. "I'll work with you. Help build something here." These people, this place, they remind me. He nodded, proud. Then we'll do it together. I have a new idea. A van. It'll bring hot meals to people on the streets. You'll run it? Her eyes got wide. Me? You, he said. You know what they need. A year later, Sienna stood by her sky blue van. It had big words on the side, Harbor Hands. She served hot stew to people and she knew all their names. The program had grown. Now there were 3 vans, a bigger shelter, and even her name in the newspaper. Drex got 10 years in jail for drugs and hurting people. The police found a stash in that warehouse. He was finally gone. Justice stayed. But that night, under the lights outside the center, Keanu pulled her aside. He held a ring in his hand. You gave me faith, he said softly. Let me give you forever. She smiled, tears falling. Yes. The $10 bill was now in a frame on the wall nearby. Kids laughed. Music played. Sienna held Keanu's hand. Her heart was full. One little act, $10, had spread out like magic. It had lifted her and others too. Kindness, she thought, is the real miracle. I believe Sienna's story shows something true. Kindness is not just about feeling nice. It's a spark. It can change lives even when everything feels broken. Maybe you felt like Sienna, tired but still trying to help. Or maybe you think it's silly to give your last dollar to someone you don't know. I understand both. Life can be hard. Being careful keeps us safe. But there is magic in small, brave choices. To me, this story proves something important. Hope doesn't need money or power. It just needs a heart. If you like this story, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe for more thrilling adventures, mysteries, and unforgettable moments. Your support keeps these stories alive and the creativity flowing. Thanks for watching. I can't wait to see you in the next video.